The United States woke up on November 6, 2024, to a familiar face leading the nation. The election results were a shock to many, but a confirmation to others who had unwavering faith in their candidate. Donald J. Trump, defying polls and predictions, secured a second term as president, defeating Democratic challenger Kamala Harris. His victory was a testament to his enduring appeal among a significant portion of the American electorate. This victory sends ripples across the globe, but nowhere are the tremors felt more strongly than in Israel. The news was met with mixed reactions, reflecting the complex relationship between the two nations. The Jewish state, long accustomed to unwavering American support, now faces 4 more years under a leader who has dramatically reshaped the geopolitical landscape. Trump's policies have had a profound impact on the region, altering alliances and strategies. The world holds its breath, wondering what this means for the volatile Middle East and the enduring Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The stakes are higher than ever, with many fearing an escalation in tensions. Trump's victory was a landslide. His unwavering base and a deeply divided electorate propelled him to victory. The election highlighted the stark divisions within the country, with passionate supporters on both sides. His victory speech, delivered in his signature combative style, promised a continuation of his America First agenda. He vowed to prioritize American interests, a message that resonated with his core supporters. While domestic issues dominated his address, the implications for Israel were clear. The speech was closely watched in Jerusalem, where leaders are keenly aware of the potential impact on their nation. Trump's foreign policy, often unpredictable and transactional, has left its mark on the region. His approach has been both praised and criticized, reflecting the complexity of international relations. The question now is whether his second term will bring stability or further upheaval. Analysts are divided, with some predicting a period of relative calm and others fearing increased volatility. For Israel, Trump's victory is a double-edged sword. His support is seen as a crucial asset, but his unpredictability remains a source of concern for those that have their own interest in mind. On the one hand, he is seen as a staunch ally, someone who understands Israel's security concerns and is willing to stand by its side. This has been a cornerstone of his relationship with the Israeli government. On the other hand, his unpredictable nature and penchant for unilateral action have at times caused anxiety in Iran. The Israeli leadership must now navigate these complexities with caution in light of the tension between Iran and Israel. The Israeli government, while publicly congratulating Trump, is likely already strategizing on how to navigate the next 4 years under his leadership. They are preparing for a range of scenarios, from increased cooperation to potential conflicts, as the focus on the issues at hand. The world watches and waits, holding its breath as Trump embarks on his second term. The international community is keenly aware of the potential ramifications. The stakes are high and the future uncertain. Every decision made in the coming years will be scrutinized and analyzed. Only time will tell what impact Trump's victory will have on Israel, the Middle East, and the world. The next 4 years will be a critical period for all involved. But one thing is certain, the next 4 years will be anything but boring. The world is bracing for a dynamic and unpredictable era in global politics. Few actions have demonstrated Trump's unwavering support for Israel as clearly as his decision to relocate the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem in 2018. This bold move was a significant departure from decades of U.S. foreign policy. This move, long considered politically charged and a potential obstacle to peace, was hailed by Israel as a recognition of its historical and religious claim to the city. It was seen as a long-overdue acknowledgement of Jerusalem as Israel's undivided capital. For Palestinians, it was a devastating blow, signaling a U.S. bias towards Israel and undermining their own aspirations for East Jerusalem as the capital of a future state. The decision sparked widespread protests and heightened tensions in the region. The embassy relocation was met with mixed reactions internationally. While some praised the move, others saw it as a reckless decision that could destabilize the already volatile Middle East. While some countries, including Guatemala and Honduras, followed suit, most condemned the move as a violation of international law and an impediment to the peace process. The global community was largely divided on the issue. The United Nations General Assembly overwhelmingly voted to condemn the relocation, reflecting the global consensus that Jerusalem's status should be resolved through negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians. This vote underscored the international community's commitment to a diplomatic solution. For Israel, the embassy move was a powerful symbol of American support, a tangible demonstration of Trump's commitment to their cause. It was celebrated as a historic moment in U.S.-Israel relations. It solidified the perception of Trump as a true friend in the White House, someone who understood their concerns and was willing to challenge the status quo. His actions were seen as a testament to his dedication to Israel's security and sovereignty. The move also resonated deeply with the Israeli public, reinforcing a sense of validation and bolstering support for Trump among many. It was viewed as a victory for those who had long advocated for international recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. However, the relocation also had its critics within Israel. Some Israelis feared that the move could provoke further violence and complicate future peace efforts. Some argued that while symbolic, the move would ultimately harm the peace process and further inflame tensions with the Palestinians. They believed it could derail ongoing negotiations and make compromise more difficult. They feared that it would embolden hardliners on both sides and make a negotiated two-state solution even more elusive. The decision was seen as a potential catalyst for increased conflict. The embassy move, while celebrated by many, remains a controversial decision with far-reaching consequences. It continues to shape the geopolitical landscape and influence U.S. foreign policy in the region. In a region often defined by conflict and mistrust, the Abraham Accords, brokered by the Trump administration in 2020, offered a glimmer of hope. These historic agreements normalized relations between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco, marking a significant shift in the regional landscape. The accords, facilitated by Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner, were touted as a major foreign policy achievement, fostering cooperation and potentially paving the way for a more stable Middle East. The Abraham Accords were built on a shared perception of Iran as a common threat, as well as a desire for economic and technological cooperation. The agreements opened up new avenues for trade, investment, and tourism between Israel and the Arab signatories. They also facilitated intelligence sharing and security cooperation, aimed at countering Iranian influence in the region. For Israel, the accords represented a diplomatic breakthrough, normalizing relations with key Arab states and chipping away at its regional isolation. The agreements offered the promise of increased economic prosperity and enhanced security cooperation, strengthening Israel's position in the region. They also signaled a potential shift in the Arab world's stance towards Israel, moving beyond the traditional focus on the Palestinian issue. However, the Abraham Accords were not without their critics. Some argued that the agreements were more about transactional diplomacy than genuine peacemaking, driven by shared interests rather than a desire for true reconciliation. They pointed to the continued occupation of Palestinian territories and the lack of progress on a two-state solution as evidence that the accords did not address the root causes of conflict in the region. Section 4. The shadow of war, Iran looms large. As Israel grapples with the implications of Trump's re-election, the specter of Iran looms large. The Islamic Republic, with its nuclear ambitions and support for regional proxies, remains a primary security concern for Israel. Trump's decision to withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal in 2018 and impose crippling sanctions was welcomed by Israel, which had long viewed the agreement as flawed and insufficient to curb Iran's malign activities. The Trump administration's maximum pressure campaign against Iran has undoubtedly taken its toll on the Iranian economy. However, it has also fueled tensions in the region and raised concerns about a potential military confrontation. Iran has responded to U.S. sanctions with a policy of maximum resistance, gradually increasing its uranium enrichment levels and carrying out provocative actions in the Persian Gulf. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran, often playing out through proxy forces in Syria, Lebanon, and Gaza, has intensified in recent years. Israel has carried out numerous airstrikes against Iranian targets in Syria, seeking to prevent the transfer of advanced weaponry to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran, in turn, has threatened retaliation and continues to support Hamas and other militant groups in Gaza. Trump's re-election raises questions about the future of U.S. policy towards Iran. Will he continue his hardline approach, seeking to further cripple the Iranian economy and force regime change? Or will he be open to diplomacy and a return to the negotiating table? The answer to this question will have profound implications for Israel's security and the stability of the region. Section 5. Israel reacts. A mixture of hope and uncertainty. News of Trump's re-election was met with mixed reactions in Israel, a country that has always had a complex relationship with American politics. While many celebrated the return of a staunch ally to the White House, seeing it as a continuation of strong support, others expressed concern about the potential for increased instability and a further erosion of the peace process, which has been fragile for years. The Israeli government, while publicly congratulating Trump and expressing optimism, is likely already engaged in intense internal deliberations, weighing the pros and cons of this political shift, assessing the implications for their national security and regional strategy, which could be significantly impacted. For some Israelis, Trump's victory is a source of comfort and reassurance, a sign that their concerns are being heard. They view him as a strong leader who understands Israel's security concerns and is willing to confront its enemies head-on. They point to his decisions to relocate the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, a move that was highly symbolic, recognize Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, a contentious area, and withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal as evidence of his unwavering support and commitment to Israel's security. However, others are more apprehensive about the prospect of 4 more years of Trump, fearing the unknown. They worry that his unpredictable nature, his often erratic behavior, his penchant for unilateral action, and his disregard for diplomatic norms, and his close relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, which some see as too cozy, could further inflame tensions with the Palestinians and damage Israel's standing in the international community, making diplomacy even harder. Unfortunately, they fear that his policies could lead to increased isolation and conflict, pushing the region towards more violence, jeopardizing the prospects for a peaceful resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which has been elusive for decades. The Israeli public is divided, reflecting the complexity of the issues at stake and the uncertainty surrounding Trump's second term. Some see him as a savior, a necessary force in a turbulent region, a defender of Israel against its enemies, someone who will stand firm. Others view him as a loose cannon, a volatile force that could destabilize the region and make peace even more elusive. They worry that his actions could lead to unintended consequences, further complicating an already complex situation. Only time will tell what impact Trump's re-election will have on Israel, but the stakes are undeniably high. The next 4 years will be a critical period, closely watched and analyzed in Jerusalem and beyond. One thing is certain: the next 4 years will be closely watched and analyzed in Jerusalem, as the world waits to see what unfolds. Israel continues to stand firm on his right to defend itself from their enemies. However, Israel is open to peace negotiations. Please like and subscribe to our channel for world news. Please show your support by shopping for coffee or tea at Bean Cake Coffee. Come again, thank you for your continuous support.